Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to East Hull to find out about a dog rescue centre's potential closure if funds are not found. We look into why there's a lack of new homes being built in northeast Lincolnshire, and we find out about plans to redevelop the area around Grimsby Minster. And we meet the pupils from a Grimsby school who are becoming entrepreneurs. Welcome to Estuary News, I'm Hugh Richards. On the run-up to Christmas, animal rescue centres find themselves inundated with unwanted animals. Looking after them takes money, and running a centre is done entirely on charitable donations. Sadly, many centres struggle, and one East Hull dog rescue centre is facing financial problems. Dave Dunn went to meet the team.
It's a centre that looks after abandoned and mistreated dogs, rehoming 170 dogs in 2013. But now the future of this vital service is under threat as the Oakwood Canine Rescue Service Centre faces permanent closure.
We are, unfortunately, yes. We've been running since 2009 and it's always been a financial struggle trying to make ends meet each month. But it's really come to a head this year where the money is just not coming in as quick as the bills. So I've been faced, unfortunately, to have to make the decision as the founder and trustee that financially, if we don't manage to secure financial stability by the end of the year, we can't continue.
Like most similar centres, Oakwood is a charitable organisation and relies on donations from the public to make it from month to month. The centre needs £2,000 a month to meet expenses including rent and bills. The volunteers normally take to the streets to collect donations, but they haven't been able to for a few months, making an already tight financial situation even worse.
Every weekend we go out and do street collections, usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in order to pay the bills that have already come in the previous week. However, due to a lack of regular support, we've not been able to do any street collections since the end of September, and that's left us with very little money coming in month on month.
For Jill, the decision to close if money cannot be found is a heartbreaking decision after all the time and effort she has put into building the centre's reputation.
It was a very, very tough decision. Yeah, there's a lot of people involved in the rescue that needed to be considered, myself included, and obviously the dogs. So it wasn't an easy decision, and it's something I've been up and down with probably for the last 18 months, if I'm being honest. But I've just tried to get my head down, plough through and just keep fighting. But it's just got to the stage where emotionally I just didn't have the strength to continue to keep fighting anymore.
Luckily, the one silver lining is that even if the centre does close, the dogs won't be in any danger. Another rescue centre has already agreed to take the dogs at Oakwood if the centre has to close, putting to bed rumours started on Facebook that the dogs will be put to sleep.
Well, there have been some rumours going round on Facebook that apparently we're having all the dogs put to sleep. Now, I'm not 100% sure where this rumour has come from because that could not be further from the truth. We have a lot of rescue contacts and there's already a local rescue that have said they'll step in and take the dogs. So the dogs, people do not need to be concerned about the dogs if we close. Absolutely, the dogs that we've got in will be fine. However, over the last 6 years, we've rehomed over 500 dogs. And those dogs wouldn't have been fine had we not been here. So it's looking at the dogs we could have potentially helped going forward were we not in this situation.
All Jill can do is wait to see if the generosity of the public can save the centre.
Housing has become a big national issue, from the lack of affordable housing to the problems of getting on the market for first-time buyers. In northeast Lincolnshire, local estate agents are claiming there's a big housing shortfall and it's affecting everything from housing supply to prices. We sent Dave Nunn to investigate.
Housing has been at the centre of domestic politics for a while now, with policies like the right to buy being at the centre of national election campaigns. But away from the politics, it's claimed enough homes aren't being built at the local level, something claimed by Pickett and Crone based in Grimsby.
Obviously the Home Builders Federation, they've mentioned that really Grimsby needs to build, well not just Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire needs to build around 237 new homes per year. On average, new homes developers are building around 170 homes a year. So there is a shortfall, obviously, in new homes being built, which has a knock-on effect for other industries, obviously, in the area.
It's not just about building more homes to cope with a growing population. A lack of new homes makes them become like a commodity, raising prices further and locking people out of owning a house.
One of the things you have, when there's not enough homes being built, it causes prices to rise because there's not enough for people to buy, there's less choice. I suppose it's like any commodity in the world. You go into a supermarket and you've got less choice. You know, if there's 5 brands of orange juice, you're going to go for the one that's on sale. You know, but if you go into and there's only one, problem is you end up paying the going rate for it, really. So more homes need to be built to keep prices in check. I mean, we've certainly seen, I mean, Grimsby, prices have risen circa sort of 10% in the last sort of years, which makes it very, very difficult for sort of first-time buyers, you know, to get on the housing market if these homes aren't being built.
David says it's hard to pin down why new homes are being built. However, new developments in more rural areas or villages in our region are met with a lot of competition and concerns from locals. Just a few weeks ago, a new 400 home planning application outside Grimsby's Toll Bar School was deferred for reasons that can be attributed to many other applications being cancelled.
It's been agreed that the application will be deferred until we have assurances, first of all, that a major highways improvement scheme, which is going to be funded by the Lincolnshire Local Enterprise Partnership, is actually going to go ahead, and we probably won't know about that until the new year, and also until the committee is assured that there's been full consultation with all local residents and parish councils, and in particular with the nearby Waltham Toll Bar School, that all other traffic issues in the area will be properly addressed.
David says that any new homes that may be built won't just bring benefits to the local housing market, but the wider regional economy as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the same, isn't it? It's not in my backyard, but the amount it contributes to the local economy is amazing. You know, it's those 170 houses. You know, roughly every year that contributes 731 jobs. You know, to the economy. You know, that's a hell of a tax contribution. You know, they need to be built. You know, and it is a knock-on effect. You know, these homes, they sell, these taxes get paid, people come into the area. You know, it makes the town centre that little bit more vibrant, more shops open.
You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, we find out about the plans to redevelop the area around Grimsby Minster. We meet the pupils from a Grimsby school who are becoming entrepreneurs, and we visit Paul Home Tower, a ruin in much need of some restoration. And of course, we'll have all the sports news. Looking after our money can be a challenge to the best of us at times, and now an organisation in Hull is helping people become more financially aware. Catch 22, based off Anleby Road, has been hosting events to make sure we're all up to speed with the basics, such as opening a bank account, and to do so they've taken a novel approach. Dan Kemp has been along to find out what it's all about.
Catch 22 have taken an interesting way to make sure younger people take on the monetary skills needed to succeed in life. And that's why there's a fun fair in town.
It attracts a lot more people, and because it's aimed at young people as well, it makes it a lot more interesting and a lot more engaging, and because they can bring their children along as well, it's activities that they can get involved in, and involving them as a whole family to all take on the advice and the tips.
It's often felt that young people today don't have the know-how when it comes to looking after themselves financially. By creating this one-stop shop for anyone who needs a hand, Amy hopes that they'll be able to widen their reach and support more people.
We have a lady from the Money Advice Service at Citizens Advice, so if anybody is struggling with any debts, they can go and speak to her and she will be able to give them information regarding that. We've got two ladies from Barclays Bank who have come for young people, because a lot of young people struggle with being able to open a bank account. They're not quite sure what they need, so they're here to offer advice about opening an account.
Vanessa is a volunteer and explains more about what's been happening.
It's a food theme, so just telling people about how they can budget, how they can sort of do a food shop on a budget, like with limited amount of money, especially with families, and I know families aren't exactly cheap either.
Having to pay bills is something that they're all quite new to doing, and having to manage their money, it's not maybe something that they've ever had to do before, so us providing this for them gives them the opportunity to learn those skills early on to take them through into adulthood.
Looks like an interesting event, Dan. You good with money?
No, not at all, Hugh. It's a very interesting event, though. It was down Sainer Street off Anleby Road in Hull, and they were it was a strange one. They had candy floss machines, different games, kind of sweets and things like that. And I think the premise of it really was to make sure that the young adults were going along and taking away what they wanted to take away from it, but they were doing it in kind of a disguised form, that they could take their children. Of course, there are a lot of young families in that area, and they were making sure that the young children kind of got what they needed out of it, but the adults were learning at the same time. So I think it was quite a good and strange and novel approach, as you mentioned in your cue.
A useful event.
Yes.
There's some sport.
Yes, we are doing sport, as I know you love every weekend.
Excellent.
Every Friday we talk about this. Hull City are away at Bristol City tomorrow. Grimsby Town are playing as well. They're away at Eastleigh, which is a repeat of the playoff semi-finals from last year. So we've been speaking to Chris Doig, who was the Grimsby assistant manager, and Steve Bruce, Hull City manager. Spoke to them both this morning. And also, if you go on Facebook as well, there's a brief clip of Mohamed Diarmi, the Hull City midfielder, talking about how his season's gone as well.
And how has it gone?
Brilliantly. Brilliant for him so far. He's been in and out of the side, but in the last couple of weeks he's come back in and he's really been taking the league by storm, as the rest of the team have as well.
Okay. Anything outside football?
Yes, we've got a couple of rugby union fixtures as well coming up. Hull Ionians and Hull IUFC are both in action.
Well, you know how much I'm looking forward to that, Dan. Thank you very much. Join me again after the break when we find out about plans to redevelop the area around Grimsby Minster, and we visit Paulholme Tower, a ruin in much need of restoration, and we meet the pupils from a Grimsby school who are becoming entrepreneurs. And that will be followed by Dan's latest sports news. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. A little later, we meet the pupils from a Grimsby school who are becoming entrepreneurs, and we visit Paulholme Tower, a ruin in much need of some help. What services would you like to see the Grimsby Minster provide? That's the question being asked as part of a public consultation, which is now drawing to a close. The Square Roots project looks at what ways the Minster can help residents in the parish. People have until Saturday to make their suggestions, when organisers will then be collating information. Erica Barker spoke to the Reverend Canon Andrew Dodd.
The church does lots of social action projects that we're really proud of, but it's all very well thinking that we've got a good idea and carrying it out, but we need to really test that and find out, is this actually serving the needs of the community here? Everybody's interested in trying to find funding for various projects, but for me what's really important is how we use the people and our volunteers here in our churches and the partnerships and networks that we have, and how we really use those to the best. And of course, how we use this building here, Grimsby Minster, which we want to be open and available to the public to use for our projects, but also as we think about the future of other buildings, perhaps what we do with the rebuilt St James's House, for example.
Well, I think it's great. Then you get some input, don't you, of what people really want. It's all right sitting at home and saying what you want, but you need to be out here and telling people what you would like.
You've got to go out and speak to the people about what they want and all the rest of it. If you don't, you're just sitting on your backside doing nothing. You've got to have some input from the people.
Because otherwise you're just getting one side of a story and not everybody's opinion. No, I think it's a good idea.
People are already telling us lots of things about need in this particular part of town. Mental health issues, issues to do with debt, things like family and parenting, and cooking on a budget in austerity times. It's about how we can respond to people in need. So we're getting lots of ideas, and I hope that people watching Estuary TV and will engage with the consultation. If they look on the website for Grimsby Minster on the social action page, they can find a link so that they can follow the survey. And we want to hear from as many people as possible about what they think we could be doing here in Grimsby.
And if there's a story you'd like us to look into, then you can contact the news team either through the Facebook or Twitter pages, or email news@estuary.tv, or call 01472 31 553. Let us know what's happening in your area. Paulholme Tower on the banks of the Humber Estuary is a remnant of the 15th century. It's believed to have been a medieval fortified house, and it's now in need of much restoration, but that requires money. This week, the guardian of the tower, Simon Taylor, has been giving us a guided tour of the old place.
So here we are inside now. This is a barrel vaulted brick ceiling. It's quite unique. We've had to put this scaffold in to temporarily support it, but we hope to get that all fixed and sorted. But it's a wonderful room. It's quite special. So hidden in this corner we have the stairs that are in the brickwork, and it takes us up to the first floor landing. It's very steep, but come and have a look. So here we're on the first floor level now, and you see built into the walls are these arches, these alcoves. We're not quite sure what they are. There would have been a floor there. It's not there anymore. And over in this corner we've got a portcullis. It goes down the door where we came in, there's slots in the brickwork there. So there would have been a mechanism here to lift it and lower it, but down with the portcullis, door shut, very safe and secure. So these steps take us up to what will be the second floor, or the second floor landing, which squeeze through the scaffold. Second floor's missing, and then these steps take us up to the roof, which is also missing, but we're going to sort that. From up here the view is fantastic. Over to my right there is the city of Hull. In front of me is the river, that's North Killingholme. That is Immingham. I can see Grimsby, Stone Creek, and all the way around you can see panoramic views of South Holderness. Fantastic it is. I could, if the fog cleared a little bit, probably see the lighthouse at Spurn, not quite sure. Okay, so there's a hole in the floor here, and this is what they called the garderobe. And the garderobe is a toilet, basically. So the contents of the toilet went down to the ground floor and out through a hole in the wall and across the field over there and just soaked away. It must have been very fresh in those days. Okay, so you've had a look around the tower. You see it's in quite a dangerous state at the moment. But if we get the money to renovate the tower, then we can open it to the public and all of you can come and have a look. It's a fantastic place.
The number of people in the UK who are running their own businesses is at its highest level in 40 years, and programmes such as The Apprentice capitalise on this popularity. Now, Healing Primary School in North East Lincolnshire has started teaching its pupils about business acumen by making and selling their own products at the school's craft fair. Dave Nunn went to go and find out what's going on.
It's something that wouldn't sound out of place on shows like The Apprentice, making and selling products at a fair. However, in Healing, this task is being given an educational slant, as pupils at Healing Primary School are making their products and competing against each other to make a profit.
That's what it's based on, really. The children, they research products, they design, they make it, they evaluate, they advertise, they make labels, they price the products so that we can make a profit. So yeah, it is based on the Apprentice.
And it is quite competitive between the classes. Sort of each of the classes is actually trying to make the biggest profit that they can.
For the school, part of the reason for setting the task is to teach the pupils in a non-traditional way. The task of marketing and selling products requires English and math skills, and the children are learning these subjects in a different and enjoyable way.
It is a very important part of the curriculum in terms of it. The mathematics and the reasoning and problem solving that they're developing is actually helping them in real life situations, and they see the purpose of it and get excited about it. So it's creative because they're excited.
They don't necessarily realise that they are doing English and maths because it's all for the purpose of selling the product, and they're so excited about doing it.
These pupils have been designing and making everything from lip balms to cookie mix, and they say they've enjoyed learning many new things.
Well, I've learnt that you can make a lovely decoration for Christmas in a different way with a sock that you normally wouldn't think, oh, let's make a Christmas decoration with a sock.
Well, I think I've learned how to be a team more, and like how to work together, and more like design and technology things, just how to like make stuff.
I've learned how to like mix things together and melt them properly, because say if you melt it a bit too much or you use something that you shouldn't put in the microwave, it could like explode in the microwave.
The teachers say while learning business acumen isn't on the primary school curriculum, it's a valuable skill to teach children as more and more people are becoming self-employed and making good careers out of it.
I think you have to look to the future generations as the children get older. There'll be a lot more people that have their own businesses. It develops entrepreneurial skills and children understanding about the wider world.
I mean, yes, we are preparing children for their futures, and futures in business can be really, really exciting. We want to awaken children's enthusiasm for it as early as possible.
Now here's the sport.
Hull City return to action following the international break tomorrow with an away trip to Bristol City. The game kicks off at 12:30 at Ashton Gate. Elsewhere, it's a Lincolnshire against Yorkshire affair as Scunthorpe United host Bradford City at Glanford Park. A win would see the Iron make huge strides towards the playoffs as Bradford sit 4 points ahead, out of the playoffs on just goal difference. Grimsby Town travel to third-placed Eastleigh in the National League, and North Ferriby United host second in National League North AFC Fylde. Hull City manager Steve Bruce says he has plenty of options to replace the injured David Myler ahead of their game in Bristol. Bruce revealed this morning that he's expected to miss 5 to 6 weeks of action, but believes a number of different players could fill the void.
The obvious one is obviously Tom and young Isaac. I've got the, I could move Plukas inside and bring in Maloney, who's looked fantastic in training and is chomping at the bit to get his chance. So there's 1 or 2, 3 options I've got, but obviously I keep them to myself at the moment.
Meanwhile, Bruce confirmed today that injured duo Robert Snodgrass and Adama Diamande could still be a month away from a first-team return. Grimsby Town assistant boss Chris Doig has revealed John Paul Pittman is in contention to feature in Saturday's game, while Omar Bogle has also returned to training. But Doig says they'll have plenty to do to oust the current partnership of Padraig Hammond and Alex Jones.
They've certainly done well in the short time that they've played together. We've had 2 good results whilst they've played, so if they do get another chance, it'll be good to see what they do.
Meanwhile, Doig has been looking ahead to the threat posed by tomorrow's opponents, who Town overcame 4 times last season, including in the playoffs.
It's a new season as far as I'm concerned, so we go there. I think they've got 8 out of the 11 lads that have been played against us last year. We did have the edge on them last year, but it was last year. This is a new season, so we've got to go there with the same attitude that we showed last year and have shown this year, and try and dominate the game and try and come away with a win.
And finally, Rugby Union Hull Ionians travel to Darlington Modern Park tomorrow, while Hull IUFC are at Huddersfield YMCA and Scunthorpe are at Siston. That's all for the sport. You can get in contact in the usual ways.
That's it for tonight. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31 553. Until next week, good evening.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Sunny spells and scattered wintry showers for Saturday, these tending to become confined to coastal areas by the evening. Strong to gale-force northerly winds and a maximum temperature of 5 degrees. Cold with further wintry showers on Sunday.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.